Welcome to the Lift Journal, a session-by-session record of my progression in foiling from a beginner's perspective, sharing the highs and lows of my experience firsthand.
Okay, so it's morning of day 2. I didn't actually sleep that well last night because I was like so excited to get back on one of these things. It's been one of those searches in surfing. I'm always trying to look for like a new sensation, and the only thing that I can kind of compare about, and I was kind of thinking about this while I was at like 2 o'clock in the morning, is when you get a lifty nose ride and you kind of don't know how to control it because it's your like first time getting a lifty nose ride. And I know that maybe this is something that shortboarders can't really relate to, but yeah, it's that uncontrollable sensation that you know you can control, but it's so unnatural that you don't know how to at first. The cool thing about this is that it's consistent, so you eventually get used to it, and maybe this will help me with my fear of sometimes nose riding and getting too high and almost, especially like when you're nose riding, waves going over the back of the board, and you get that lift, that quick lift, and almost like wants to buck you off, but you learn how to control it. So maybe this will help. But anyway, I am super psyched for today. I think we're gonna spend some time in the ocean, more time in the ocean. As I said, I believe I'm getting towed by the e-foil into waves. The forecast isn't looking great. This hurricane is just like never really touching down, for North Carolina at least. I was super anxious a couple days before this trip because it was calling like 10 to 15. And I was just like, oh shit, like I'm gonna have to foil. I wouldn't even surf anything past 8 foot, let's be honest. 8 foot is like, that's my biggest wave unless it's tropical and it's easy. But yeah, so I'm supposed to get towed in, and I'll work on my pumping, and I'll work on my consistency, and also work on my stance a little bit. I watched a couple people on Instagram that I've been following recently that foil all the time down in Florida, and I noticed that their stance is wider and they're technically more pushed forward. And I think I have this idea in my head that I need to be on my back foot, but this, my instructor keeps saying this is a front foot sport. So I have to remember to do that and get my stance a little further up and use a little less of my foot weight and a little bit more of my body weight by pushing it up. So yeah, we'll see. And yeah.
I'm gonna end up on my stomach before you are actually on your feet. So I'll be keeping the board on the water and get us going. We'll do that same water start, go on to it, coming up, getting up and going, and then I'll be able to get my feet on that thing, and then we should be able to go.
Some odd reason you come off foil. Should I just bail? Because I'm not that far from you.
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Foil towings is not something I thought I would ever do in my life, but I came here to try something different. Every experience I have had has been slightly different than the last. Being towed by the e-foil is a slower pop-up speed, but you need to get up very fast. After a few tries, we headed back to the beach to switch wings. I was on a 1600 and getting a little too much lift getting towed, so we switched to the CF 1200, which should help my situation. Just like that, problem is solved. It's pretty wild how the wing can change that much of the lift. This is my first towing experience, and what a blast. If you've ever been looking for effortless glide, this is it. Although I came here to learn to prone foil, I could definitely get used to getting towed in. Remember how in the first entry I was saying it's like an ollie? When staying in that perfect spot on foil. Maybe it's more of a manual. This is terrifying. After a few hours, we wanted to see what was happening closer to base camp. So we cruised the Rodanthe and went for a prone foil. Let's just say, after getting spoiled getting towed into waves all morning, my prone skills were not up to par. As the session went on, the swell filled in, and a few times I was extremely humbled by the strength of the swell.
All right, so night 2, last full day at foil camp at Real Water Sports. Today was something different. I was just towed behind the E-foil, which was pretty cool because he attached a leash to the mast of the foil, and I was just holding on to the leash plus like a little bit of a rope. So I was like right behind him, which was pretty wild because I kind of like watched him go up on foil and then try to just mimic everything that he was doing. So I was keeping almost like the same speed. But the conditions were a little choppy, which was good because it kind of showed me how to kind of shift my weight and also do minor turns in chop, which is something that I kind of feel like I'm going to foil a lot in. So it was good to kind of mimic that. So this stuff is not easy. If you see someone foiling and they're doing really well, you should probably give them props because it is really hard. This is the most difficult thing I've ever done. As far as board sports, I mean, this is just such a difference from everything that I've ever been taught, and I don't think I would have been able to do it without an instructor. Anyway, second part of the day, we went to a nice little, like almost slabby break, which made it very difficult to foil. I think I got one wave and then realized that I was completely out of my comfort zone. You get up real fast. Even with prone foiling, once that wave starts to push you, the board just automatically goes up. And since you're already paddling, you have the wave pushing you and then the wing pushing you up, you automatically need to just kind of try to put pressure down, get to your feet, and start pumping. I think I had, out of an hour, I had one wave. I had 3 total, 1 wave that I actually went some distance. Again, let me say, this is not easy, but it's a lot of fun, and I'm not gonna give up because I'm having too good of a time just having these new feelings. I'm definitely getting an impact vest, and I might even get a helmet because I got nicked in the leg yesterday and I got nicked in the foot today, and I was being super careful and I was under really good supervision, and I do not plan on doing this around anyone else at all. So if you see me with this thing, don't come near me. don't paddle near me. And I'm gonna stay away from you too. And yeah, so tomorrow I think it's gonna get pretty big. So we might head down to Frisco, which is north, and we'll kind of see what happens.
Thank you everyone for tuning in. If you like this episode, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already.